All right. Hello, everyone. This is Damon Postolka here with the Exit Your Way Roundtable. I've got some music. Ira Bowman, you're going to be happy with me. I figured out how to do the music, hopefully. All right. Enough of that. Hey, today with me, I've got Michael Gidlewski. Boom. I think I did it right.
All right. On the money.
All right. Awesome, Michael. Well, today we're going to talk about creating great companies, and Michael helps business owners and businesses really understand how to utilize people, how to understand their people, and those kind of things to really create teams that work well and businesses that run well. So, Michael, great to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah. So, Michael, can you tell me a little bit about where you started and what kind of got you into this line of work?
Yes. I started in the sporting goods business, actually in my dad's retail sporting goods store. He had a dream, him and his uncle. My uncle was a lifetimer, a lifer in the Marine Corps. Went through World War II and Korea. And those two guys had a dream to build a sporting goods store, hunting, fishing, trap ranges, skeet ranges, outdoor shooting ranges, the whole 9 yards. And so I learned business from unloading trucks and stocking inventory and purchasing inventory and selling. And that business morphed from a little retail store into a wholesale distributor. And I spent 25 years in the, I moved on from his business. He wanted to get rid of the wholesale part, stay in the retail. I love the excitement of the volume of business, right? Selling more and more. So I moved on to other distributors and spent 25 years in the wholesale distribution business.
Wow. Well, let's back up to the beginning. Did they ever have the trap shooting stuff with the?
Oh yeah, they had night trap shooting. We had lights and we had 4 or 5 trap fields lit up at night. Monday night was Monday night trap shooting. Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty wild.
I used to, when I lived in the Midwest, I did it with friends, and I would tell people we would do it like most people golf.
You're right. Correct. Yep.
And people would look at you strange when you went into a store and you came out with a shopping cart of shotgun shells because you were going out for the weekend.
Right. That's exactly right. Yes.
Fun times. So I bet you learned a lot in there. So were they selling the normal hunting and fishing and or what were some of the specialties of the store?
The store was generalist, so hunting, fishing, gunsmithing. We had 2 gunsmiths on premises. The rifle range obviously drew a lot of people. We were in Ottsville, which is 25 miles outside of Philadelphia. So folks from Philly would roll out every weekend. And it was great. They just loved to shoot targets and get on that rifle range and blow ammo away. A lot of kids, parents and their kids. It was a family outing for lots and lots of people.
Oh yes.
Things
that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. So were you a hunter or a fisherman when growing up then?
No. I ended up working all the time. I break my little brother's chops all the time. Those 2 guys came along later and they hunted and fished and they took advantage of all that. But it seemed like me and my dad, we were always working. And I remember in the summer, it was like, Dad, I got to get out of here. Oh, man, we're not busy. You can't take a vacation now. And then in the fall and the winter, we're up to our ears in business. Oh, you can't take off now.
Yeah.
So I learned the upside was a good work ethic, and the downside was maybe a too good work ethic. A little bit on the workaholism ethic.
Yeah, I understand that completely. Well, that's cool. It's when you can grow up with family like that in the business, I think that's kind of special. We don't hear that often. You don't hear that often. So
yes,
that's very cool. That's very cool. So then you moved on into the other wholesale distribution kind of businesses, and then what were you doing there?
Primarily general manager, responsible for the entire operation, right? Running the entire operation. My first company after I left my father, they were struggling around 5-6 million. I took that to 20 million in 5 years, and then just worked for different distributors. The business was shrinking. It was, and consolidating. So larger distributors continued to buy smaller distributors. Yep. And I got caught up in all that. It seemed like every 3 to 5 years, someone would buy us, and then I'd be working for another company. But it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about unions and everything. It was just an unbelievable education.
Yeah. So, now correct me if I'm wrong, but you do a lot with people assessments now and personalities and things like that. So what really, I mean, I don't really quite see this shift from leader to people person.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting story because I had the entire operation was run on an override, if you will. The salesmen did better; they got an override. I was in charge of all the salesmen. They did better. I got an override. It seemed like everybody had little bonuses and all the way all these little businesses were structured, right? So I was always trying to figure out, how do I motivate my guys and my gals to sell more, sell more, sell more, sell more. And I saw an ad in Success Magazine. This goes back 25 years ago for a company called Success Motivation Institute. And all 3 of those words resonated with me because if I wasn't more successful, couldn't get my people more motivated and sell more, I might end up in an institution. So I called them up and they said, "Oh yes, we're having a seminar, a 3-day seminar on this whole idea and time. Why don't you come down?" So I did. I flew to Waco, Texas. Unbeknownst to me, it was a franchise opportunity.
Oh.
But it was great. I learned a whole lot of stuff, and I said, "I'm buying the franchise." And I left there buying a franchise, and I stayed in the wholesale distribution business using these materials to see how they would work, right? And it was a whole different concept. I learned about attitude motivation, which is internal motivation, intrinsic motivation. We have to find out what motivates individuals. And I never knew that. I was just throwing more money prizes at my people. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah. That's that. Well, and I think realistically, most managers think about, oh yes, the people and stuff like that, but very few ever get into the level of that you talk about, and we'll get into that a little bit more because when you look at a manager that's got to manage a department or a business, there's so many competing things.
Right.
They don't really quite know what all they should be doing and looking at. And I think, as you said, we often think it's just money, but it's not always money. And a lot of times, correct me, money's not the main thing.
No. That's what I found out years and years later, that money wasn't the main thing. And I was starting to dabble in assessments when I was in the distribution because I was looking for the slight edge. How do you get the right Jim Collins, right? How do you get the right people on the bus in the right seat? And so I was searching out even then to try to have that slight edge.
Okay. So you were already kind of looking at then to go, maybe if I did something better with my people or understood them or got them moved around to the right spots, it would help us a lot.
Right.
Very cool.
When I found these assessments, I'm blown away today that every business owner doesn't use assessments. I mean, you think about a miss-hire, cost you 50 grand, 75, depending on, the position.
Oh, it's ugly. Yeah. It's
ugly. And to spend a couple $100 on an assessment, it just blows my mind how they sometimes they just, oh no, I don't do. Or I hire sports people and ex-military. They get these boxes, and like there's great people out there all over the world that maybe weren't ex-military or sports wasn't their thing. And they just get boxed into these ideas and concepts, which blows me away. Why wouldn't you want a validated instrument to help you? I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but certainly gives you the slight edge.
Well, and the other thing that I've found and realized in my own hiring in the past is that you don't want to hire the same people as you, but those are the people that we connect with the best in an interview.
Sure.
And they're probably not the right person for the position.
Right. You get a bunch of yes men. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Damon, that's a
Exactly.
great idea. Yes, that's a great idea, Damon. What does everybody think of the idea? Yes, let's go. Let's go. Hey, all right.
Yeah, especially if you're more of an entrepreneurial leader and you need some detail-oriented people that are going to be task-based and get things. It's just you hire somebody that's more like you as an entrepreneurial leader. You're hosed
Right.
because
Right.
they're going to come up with all these ideas but never get anything done.
Right. Right. You need all different kinds.
Yeah. So when we look back over the years of doing this, explain some interesting situations you've gotten yourself into.
Well, it's interesting to see when you're. So we start typically, not always, but we'll start where the client feels they need to start, right? And typically it's in strategic planning, looking at the whole, the big picture, 30,000-foot view. What's your BHAG? What's your purpose? What the big why behind why you're in business? Your core values, and really drill down on those core values. Core values people think that core values are like honesty, integrity, blah blah blah. A few things, and they slap them up on the wall, and it's that's not it. They have to be lived values, right? Look at Enron. Enron was a great example. Hey, they have 4 great values on the wall there. Yeah, well, they didn't live those values. I don't know who put them on the wall, but they weren't lived values. So anyway, one of my first a client early on, we went in and we did all the assessments, and we started with strategic plan. But you do the assessments to find out who's in the room with you, first of all, all right, so that we can have a little bit better insight into who we're dealing with as human beings. And then so we went through a 3-day ramp up. Wanted to grow his business. Loved the assessments. He said, let's do them on the rest of the company. 20 people in the company at the time, and it was phenomenal how, as he looked at those people, some were in the right spot and some were not in the right spot, in the wrong seat on the bus, and he was able to move some of those people into the right seats. And some of the people, after we went in with some training and development, trying to develop some people, productivity programs, leadership programs, whatever, they realized they were in the wrong seat and left on their own.
Wow.
Yeah. So that company today is grown 4 times the original size, and their bottom line is probably 10 times the when I started working with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're a great client. Clients see who has to do most of the work in with the clients I'm involved with. They do.
Yeah.
And they wanted to do the work. They wanted to grow the company. They take assessments real serious. They don't hire anybody without putting them through a battery of assessments.
Yeah. Well, I think if you do, and when we talk about assessments, these aren't hour-long tests either. How long does one of your assessments take somebody to do?
The longest one takes 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, okay. So they do.
Yeah. Now some of the other ones are 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But one takes that. So mental aptitudes, 6 mental aptitudes. So do they have the mental capacity to do the job? And also, and then 10 personality dimensions, job match, job fit. You don't want to put someone with ADD in an office that he or she has to sit at a desk all day and do customer service calls or whatever. They'll go nuts, right?
Yes.
And then 2 validity scores, which is really powerful. I haven't seen very many assessments that have validity scores to let you know if the candidate is telling the truth or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that before in other ones where but only one where they've said something similar to that. Are you? No, it wasn't even whether telling the truth. It talked about, are you working in your comfort zone? It was a little
Right.
different than that.
Yeah.
But let's back up again. So when you look, because I skipped ahead with my question.
Yeah.
When you go in and we're looking at this 30,000-foot level,
Right.
what is the very next thing that you want to do with that organization? So we've looked at the 30,000-foot level. Now, is it that you want to start doing assessments on the key executives or management team? You start there, or where do you really start with something like this?
We always start with the assessments, especially if we're leading into a strategic planning session or a big goal session. It actually doesn't matter what we're leading into. We're leading with the assessments, because that we then, after we do the assessment, we give them the feedback on the assessment, so they also start to learn uh, the different communication styles of everybody else on their team, right? The values of the people, the how those other people interact, and that's very powerful, because we all have different communication styles, and if I don't understand them and I don't adapt my style, let's say me and you had different styles, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't adapt my style to your style, or vice versa, there's going to be a disconnect, and it could be a pretty serious disconnect.
Yeah. Yeah. So the main benefit of that first assessment and the sharing of the results is better communication among the executives.
Absolutely. You see the light bulbs go off like crazy. Bing, bing, bing. Oh, that's why that person, uh, is very assertive or aggressive or very short, right? Or
Mhm.
that's why that person has to tell the backstory and the backstory of the backstory, right? Or that's
Mhm.
why that person is so detail oriented and just loses their mind when the people that work for them aren't detail oriented.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's okay. So in that instance there, when someone's very detail oriented and they're talking to somebody that's more conceptual and entrepreneurial,
Right.
do you think that helps them then to understand where the information is coming from? Or I should say the person receiving the information, does that help them a lot too?
Absolutely. If they're both have enough awareness to start to flex their own style. So if each person says, you know what, I'm going to flex my style more into your style and you more into mine, we can have a more effective communication. But some people are just hard asses and they're like, that's just the way I am. Well, yeah, that's the way you're hardwired, but you can modify, and certainly you want to, if you want better results, you want to learn to modify your
Yes.
communication style.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Wait,
We had a
yeah.
guy, I just at the end of the year did a big communication assessment with a company, maybe 20 managers, and one of the managers was this in the DIS model, high C, just and very task oriented, no people orientation whatsoever,
Mhm.
all task oriented, and they had him managing people, and as I'm going in, just asking questions, and it was obvious that he just wanted no part of managing people. So
Yeah.
I talked to the owner, and they found another job for this guy that they it was all about doing tasks and projects and not really having to deal with people. He is thriving in that
Mhm.
job. He's doing great for the company, and he's doing great for himself, because he doesn't have to, like, he just couldn't understand why people couldn't do it as perfectly as him.
Yes.
It's just like, but I don't understand. Like, I like, it's logical. It's common sense. What do you mean you can't dot the I, cross the T perfectly?
Yes. Yes. Well, and that's I mean that happens different things like that, but different personality traits with every single person in
Right,
every single position
right,
and
right,
every single relationship. I don't care if it's work or home or wherever.
right.
And So what are some of the things that you see that really that you go, when people do the old aha thing and they do it, what are some of the, the common things that you go, man, this is really cool when this happens?
Well, first of all, just what we were talking about, that awareness in the different communication styles. The other aha that goes off for this one communication assessment, it's only 15 minutes, that and values, right? When they get their feedback, they're getting like a 40-50 page report back. The people cannot, they go, oh my God, I can't believe that I was on a computer for 10-15 minutes and got all this feedback, and it is absolutely like me. I mean, it
Yeah.
is describing me to T. Now, every once in a while, someone says, it's not me. I said, well, we have the spousal test or the best friend test. Are you married? You have a spouse or not? Take this assessment home and give this to your spouse or your best friend. Ask them to read it and ask them to tell you if it's like you or not. And every time they come back the next day, my spouse said that's exactly like me, and she could have saved me the money from spending that on that assessment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's just it too. But that right there, that example, and I'm sure it's happened to you a lot,
Yeah,
just to that person should mean that they need to really open up and look at themselves a little better.
absolutely. Again, if you don't have self-awareness, and you're at least trying, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
going to
Because
make it.
that, yeah, that's very difficult. I'm sure for some, and and people that, especially as you're, if you're a business owner or something, I'm
Yeah,
sure there's a lot of apprehension to change some of the ways that they do things.
right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. Yep,
So okay, so we're sitting here now and we're doing this. We've done the assessments. My team it seems to be working together better. We're doing our planning. So
yep.
what would be the next thing that you'd be helping a business like that do?
One of the things that's interesting that comes up a lot is when we start to do the planning, we start to talk about BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals,
Yep.
but also just goals in general, right? And they keep thinking about like the budget, what did we do last year? 10 million, 20 million, 25, whatever. And we'll add on, what do you think we can grow? Oh, I think we can grow 5%, 3%. And they just do that formula. It's like, no, no, no. Goals are what you really, really want to have happen. So,
Uh,
so versus a budget, what? Yeah, you need budgets and you need those, but where do you really want to go with this business? And and goal setting is a process. I think that's where a lot of ahas come into, because a lot of people think that they take the old 3x5 card, right? It's a little bigger than the 3x5 card, right? And they write their goal on there, and then they put it in their back pocket, and then that goal becomes they don't look at it anymore. It just becomes a pain in the ass because it's in the back pocket there, right?
yeah.
But there's a real process to go through. First of all, SMART goals, which isn't usually new to people. But then why do I want the goal? Why is the goal important to us personally and to the organization, right? And really drilling down the Toyota 5 whys. Why is it important?
Yeah.
And then what are the obstacles? Why don't you have it already if that's what you want? So brainstorm the obstacles. Ryan, I believe Holiday wrote a great book. I'm just reading. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. And I'm like, oh my God, he's got one of our goal planning processes, because, yeah, you identify the obstacle. Then you then you really get into the brainstorming part where
Yeah.
we're really, if an obstacle is time management, taking a half-day time management course is probably not the solution. And you might have even taken that in the past, right? So really drilling down to get the most and the best creative idea, so that we get the solutions. Then out of the solutions come all the action steps, right? And prioritizing them. Action step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The most important, and then obviously tracking and measuring. I don't care how you track and measure, whiteboard, flip chart, dashboards, results.com, results BI, software with blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Just so you're tracking and measuring. And then your affirmations and visualizations. Who else needs to know the goal? But the most important 4-letter word in a goals program that a lot of people miss is the word next. N-E-X-T. Next. Always knowing what to do next. We start out with a goal in January. We might not know all the action steps that we need to roll out to achieve that goal. However, we just need to know what to do next.
Yes.
And they keep rolling out in front of it. Just like a car, right? At night, how far can you see with the headlights on? 100 yards, 200. That's all you need. You could drive all the way across country all night with those headlights on. You don't need to see 3,000 miles in front of you, or 100 miles in front of you, or even a mile in front of you. A couple 100 yards is good, and you just keep moving forward.
Yeah. It is really interesting as you say that, because a lot of people get mixed up in that.
Yes.
They really do.
Yeah. And really big disconnect I see is with culture, that how powerful culture is, and how getting the right people, having the right culture fit is going to be. And I saw this in sales, even when I was in the wholesale distribution. I put up with sales people sometimes way longer than I should have, because I thought they were the heavy hitters. But you think of the heavy hitters in a lot of sports, right? They're not the team players. It's all about them, and they're egomaniacs and stuff. So, team pays a lot of money, and they still don't win the Super Bowl or the World Series, because that player's not a good fit.
That's for sure.
With the team.
It is interesting in how that works. It's you can take, and it's the old Oakland A's, with Billy Beane, Moneyball. I mean, it's totally that. Is a good team players, teach them how to play, play for average, and you can go a long ways.
Right.
And then again, just reading the E-Myth again, and that talks so much about the system, and uses the McDonald's as the example for develop your system, so that average people can do great things, and you will have a great company if you can do that. And I think what you're doing is, with you're getting people communicating well, you're getting the goals set, obstacles identified with, I'm sure you're talking about, okay, how are we going to get around these obstacles and get people working on that? And like you said, get those incremental steps. So, okay, we're going to go down to the corner, and then we're going to take a right. Well, if there's something in the way, we're going to go to the other side of the street, and then we're going to continue down that direction, and just those kind of things, like you're saying, where we don't need to know that we're going 100 miles.
Right.
We need to know, where are we in, where, like you said, as far as the headlights can see right now, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
I really like that. Analogy with the headlights, because so many people get stuck on the long term.
Right.
They're like, okay, we're going to be here at the end of this year, boom, and we're focusing on that. Well, you need to keep that in the back of your mind.
Right.
But today, where are we going? And where are we going the day after that?
Yeah, because we're looking at the long range, right? That year-end goal. What do I need to do today and this week to advance towards that goal? And that's why breaking it down into the very micro action steps. What do I need to do today? And also, one of the biggest challenges for business people and entrepreneurs and CEOs is you get sucked into the operations. It's like this magnet, right? That just sucks you back into the daily operations over and over and over. So CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs are not taking, the number one challenge is not taking time, think time to step back and really think. In fact, for years I had the top CEO high payoff activities, right? And I always said planning and goal setting was number one, and the vision and communicate. But I've changed it to think time is number one. think time. Turn everything off. Take a blank pad and a pen, not a keystroking and typing into the computer, because writing crystallizes thought, and crystallized thought motivates action. So
Yes.
it's the handwriting part of and just thinking. Just ask yourself some really good questions and spend 45 minutes to an hour answering them with no interruptions whatsoever. What they don't realize either, I think far too many times, is every time we are interrupted, wherever that interruption comes from, an individual, a ringing, dinging, flashing email, text, whatever, right? In the world that CEOs and business owners live in, they're not assembly line workers. They've got brains, and they need to use those brains. And every time we're interrupted, and when we're in knowledge work, when we're in thinking, deep thought,
Mm-hmm.
thinking work, it takes us 15 to 20 minutes to get back to where we left off.
Yes.
That's huge.
It
That's
is.
freaking huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I would have known some of this stuff when I was in the wholesale distribution business, because I always used to say, oh, my office door is like a Macy's revolving door. Salespeople, managers, whoever, coming in and out all day long. I would go get in the office 9 o'clock, 8:39. It wasn't a real early bird, but I'd stay late. Everybody'd leave by 5:30, 6 o'clock. Between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., I would always be amazed at how much quality
Yeah.
work I could get done. I'm like, wow, I was
Yeah.
here for 10 hours, and in 3 hours I got more work than I did all day long.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I didn't know how to delegate. I didn't know how to keep the door closed, maybe not for 8 solid hours, but you have to have quality think time.
Yes. And that's so key. I work with that on some of our clients, as we go. It's
Yeah.
interesting to see the path that we use at Exit Your Way is very similar. We don't get into the people, the assessments, and those kind of things. And really, we help some with the goal and the annual plan, but not to the detail level that you do.
Yeah.
But we do talk with the owners a lot about, and the executives about that think time, that time just to think.
Right.
And it's almost funny sometimes when you ask someone, well, what do you think? What do you think? And they give you kind of a robotic answer. So no, what do you think about this? How does it
Correct.
feel? What are your thoughts? To really try to
Yes.
get their mind engaged around something, because
Right.
they, as you said, they're so sucked into, I have to make a decision because someone has asked me a question.
Right.
And that's not where your mind needs to be to get the most valuable ideas for your business a lot of the time as you move up. And I've always said that as you move up, you need more time away from the business.
Yes.
And
Yes.
owners, if they can, spending half their time away from the business is more valuable to them in the long run if they're using it, where they can think
Yeah.
and really, what are the next stages? What are the things that we should be doing? Thinking about the markets they're in. There's so much that's more valuable than, if I've got a plumbing company, or I've got a manufacturing company, and I'm in the plant, or I'm helping people with whatever. That's you provide the value of one person by doing that.
Correct.
But as the owner, if I can think,
Yep.
and I can engage 100 people in that activity that generate money for my company, I just created 100 people's worth of revenue from that. And that's where that thinking time really blows up, because you can create the big ideas, and not just the ideas, but the big actions that can really take your company to different levels.
Yes. True. So true.
And I've actually got a couple people I've known for many, many years now that started to do that. And it really has changed their careers from the
Right.
standpoint of not being in the, just not in the business all the time.
Right. Right. It is so, and it's hard to comprehend. Earlier, when I said I was sort of a workaholic, I got that from my dad.
Oh yeah.
I joined the strategic coach program, and I was in that program many, many years. And Dan Sullivan talked about free days, totally free, disconnected from the business. And it was incomprehensible in my brain. My brain,
Yeah.
vacations were, I'm a prolific reader. There's 4,000 books here. I've read about 70, 80% of them. My goal is to read them all. But I would take a stack of business books, on vacation. And that's not vacation. That's still work.
Yeah.
So I learned, and so that coach program was a full day program. First time I flew out early in the morning, went through the program all day and flew out that night. After that, I said, this is stupid. Then I would fly in Sunday morning, spend all day prepping for an all day Monday workshop, and then fly out late Monday or Tuesday. And it was powerful when I started to use it. I got to tell you, this book, I just was turned on to this book by Joe Polish. It's called The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. This book absolutely will be in the top 10 books that I recommend to any business owner. And he really, really talks about this thinking time, a lot of great ideas in here, but years and years of him making mistakes and learning from them. But it's hard for people. It was hard for me. Like, you got to be doing, go faster, faster, faster. Now my mantra is slow down to go faster. Think it really through. Really create. Look at what you want. I'm working with a new client about a month ago, and I have the first exercise I do with them is called the freedom exercise. Because what do you want personally out of your business? What are the freedoms and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I gave him the exercise. He did it. We came back the next week. I said, what did you get from that? Or what were your insights or what you learned? He said, it took me, I forget what his exact words were, like 25 years to get to that point. Like if he would have had that exercise 25 years ago, it gave him such clarity on why he wanted to create this business and everything. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah. That is when you talk about the freedoms from the business, that's the thing. Oh, Andrew Cross is on. He's asking what the book is. So I will,
The Road Less Stupid, Andrew.
Yeah, The Road Less Stupid. And I've got that one written down. I think from the last time we talked, I think I actually have it on my Audible list too, because I think it's on Audible too.
Yes, I believe it is.
It's what you just said is probably the hardest thing for someone that starts a business to do, is really understand that if you are working all the time in the business,
right,
you will not create the business you want. You're going to create you're going to create a prison for yourself. That's what you create, because you can't leave, because it won't work without you. and you don't, and you want to leave because you went into business to do something different than work.
Right.
Work at a job, but that's what you do.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is very relevant to almost anyone listening here that's in business. I mean, and this is again, and as you say, reading, I do a fair amount of it. Andrew reads a lot, and I know a lot of people do, but I was thinking about this again in the E-Myth, where he talks about, we've all got, as you start these businesses, you got the three people, you got the technician, you've got the entrepreneur, and you got the whatever else it is, the three in there. But, we've all done that when we start a business. If you start a business, you're the technician, and he talks about it and that thing. And you really need to get out of that if you're going to get anywhere. And when at Exit Your Way, when we're talking at this, and we're in the last 5 or so years of business ownership, it's critical, because if you, Michael, are the core of your business, what is your business when you leave?
Right. Absolutely.
It's nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to do what you're saying, and how you're helping people is one of the things that they may not even be realizing is their business is much, much, much more valuable when they can move away and think and drive those larger actions, it's way more valuable when it can run without them.
Right. No question about it. And that's, I think you were talking about ahas and wow moments. Those are some of the moments that go off after a while with working with clients, because they don't see that right away. They're workaholics. They're going to continue to work. And I just, through spaced repetition over and over and over, repeating, like, you got to work on the big picture. You got to take time away from that business. You can't be in the weeds all the time, and making that shift from the weeds to the big picture. Once they get it, then they really understand it. Then they're like, ooh, now I understand.
Yeah. Yep. So as you're going through this process, they're starting to hit the aha moments, and you're going down the road. They've laid out their goals for a year. What are you typically helping those companies with at that point when they say, okay, our planning is done and we're moving forward?
It's really results management then, monthly or quarterly. So this is the plan. These are the goals. This is the BHAG. What are you doing every day and every week to get to that BHAG? So creating the key performance indicators, the KPIs, right? The metrics. We want as many leading KPIs as we can get rather than lagging. Today, the 8th of September, looking at August sales, too late to do anything about it, or anything that happened in August for that matter. We can't go back. But if I've got great leading KPIs, the 8th of September, if I'm running behind on my daily KPIs, I've got 3.5 more weeks to turn it around.
Yes.
So really driving that, and then after this too, developing the leaders and the managers. Most of the mid-sized companies and stuff, their managers are their MBAs, managers by accident. They were the best doer or technician or whatever, and the owner said, you're now a manager. And this person, this man or woman who was a phenomenal technician, maybe computer programmer out on the shop floor, whatever, doesn't know anything about managing people. So they say, well, we're going to give you the wonderful, world famous half-day management program by Freddie Pryor. And now you will be the best manager in the world. And we just don't. There's not a lot of stickiness in a half-day program.
Yes.
So all our, again, processes are over a period of 10 sessions, 12 sessions, whatever, spaced repetition, tie in the goals and tie in the KPIs, mentor, manager, and me, the facilitator. It's a process. Just a little thing in the process. Hammering managers to be a good finder and give good positive feedback. They're looking for anything gone wrong, and they're jumping down their people's throats. It's what most people learn, right? And they don't realize that it takes 6 to 8 positive feedbacks to offset one negative.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. And when you start giving people positive feedback, they'll do whatever you ask them, with it morally, ethically. I mean, people. What did Mark Twain say? I can live for a month on a good compliment. People are in transactional analysis language, stroke deprived, that we don't get enough good positive stroking in our life. So if a manager does that, oh my goodness, the employees will grow. It's like a flower or a water, sunshine, nutrients to a plant. The more of that it gets, the bigger it's going to grow.
And the thing is what you're talking about is age old.
Right. Right.
Because I've just looked at my phone because I've read the book by Dale Carnegie, how to influence,
Yes.
how to win friends and influence people or something like that. That damn thing was written like in, what was it, in the 40s or 50s? It was,
Oh, yeah.
it's just like, it's like way old. But, I've got a friend of mine that's a religious follower of it, and
Yeah.
you would be amazed at the things that he can do by doing it.
Yeah.
It is just absolutely amazing. And
Yes.
he practices and practices on it. And he's not, it's across
Yeah.
very educated people,
Yeah.
factory workers, normal office people, technicians, all across the board. But as you're saying, when you find the good and you really take the time to help someone be better in the right way, rather than tell them what they're not doing,
Right.
or why they're not doing things right, it's
Yes.
amazing the difference you can get.
Yeah.
It really is. That's cool. That's cool because quite honestly, we've been, a lot of us have been programmed to find the negative, right?
Right. Yes.
And that's while that is important, we need to identify, but then
Right.
when we address something, we have to address it differently
Right.
to get the desired result. So yeah.
Brought up that's a great book, Dale Carnegie, and there's a lot of great stuff out there. That's Carnegie's 80, maybe even 100 years old by now. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. You think about a lot of these core principles go right back to the Greek philosophers, the Old and New Testament, the Bhagavad Gita, right? The Vedas. This stuff is ancient and it's timeless. But people, they don't want timeless, man. We live in a world, they want the newest, latest, greatest. And I see this stuff all the time. Thought leader, Google OKRs. Yep, they're big goals. But they just change the name, and then everybody wants to jump on the OKR bandwagon. I see people coming out. The SWOT analysis is a solid, workshop to go through. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats.
Yeah.
We don't do SWOTs anymore. We do, and then it just, if you looked at the synonyms for the 4 words they came up with, the synonyms are SWOT, right? But everybody's so hung up on, I gotta come out with some new, stuff. The timeless stuff is timeless for a reason.
Well, and you bring up a point. Most of the businesses that we work with, and it may be the same as you, it's not the brand new idea that really makes the exponential difference in what they're doing. It's consistently executing what they intended to execute for the last 20 years.
Right.
Executing it, and then executing a little better and a little better and a little better.
Yes.
And when you start talking about KPIs, simple things, just simple things, like if your sales aren't going right, well, how many touches are your salespeople doing with your prospective clients? How many prospective clients do they have to talk to every week? Work on things like that are very basic and very simple. Yes, your messaging needs to be right. But on the other hand, if you're talking to enough clients and your messaging is okay, you're still going to be pretty good. Right. And those are the kind of things that I think that we see over and over and over as the important basics that you're doing by doing the assessment, the communication part, making sure people understand they're communicating right. And then when you lay down the planning to go, okay, this is what we want to do, and here's our goals, what we really want this to look like, and then lay down the KPIs. So you're looking at a weekly basis with these leading indicators of, are we getting enough, swings, at bats? Are we getting to the plate enough to try to sell our product or service, or get enough people on our website to sell enough widgets? Those are the kind of things, that they really need to be looking at, not so much as to here's a new platform that we're going to, launch. It's going to change the world.
Right.
It's as you said, even in these books and the theories we're talking about, sometimes it's working with what you've got and making some modifications to make it work better, and you're going to get a lot farther, a lot faster.
Right.
Yeah.
You look at Vince Lombardi. What a great football coach, coaching teams that weren't, players weren't making 5, 10, 20 million dollars.
Yes.
Won, I don't know how many Super Bowls and before Super Bowls, right? And he just focused on the basics over and over and over, the basics. Every team that played against him watched the pregame films, right? And they know who's going to do what. And yet Lombardi's team beat him over and over and over. And I was fascinated when I was in the distribution business. Lombardi was just a guy, my hero. And I read about him and studied him. And the guys, some of the guys, Jerry Kramer played on his team, and he made a lot of videos afterwards, like training videos and stuff. So I sucked all those up. Well, most of Lombardi's players, all the players needed to have a career after they were done with football, because they didn't get paid enough to, right?
Yeah. And in those days, yeah.
An interesting fact is that almost every one of those players were phenomenally successful in normal average businesses, restaurants, building, beer distribution, whatever, because of Lombardi's basics. They had internalized them, they grokked them, they lived the basics day in and day out. And it's amazing to see that.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And when people understand that making plans and then working towards executing them it's the backbone in most successful businesses.
Yes.
And if you do nothing more than that, you're going to be a lot farther down the road. We were talking with I forgot Walter Crosby. We're talking with him a few weeks ago. It might have been a little bit longer ago. He was talking about sales management and the importance of having a sales process.
Right.
And I think this is one of the areas where people don't look at it very often. And he was saying that just having a sales process, you'll sell 10 to 15% more.
Right. I was talking to one of my clients, and we were doing a little bit of goal setting work with the sales team. And I said, how many what is your goal for referrals? And it was like dead silence. It was like, you got to be asking for referrals, quality introductions, whatever you want to call it. You got to be getting introduced. You do good quality work. Your clients really do like you. And it wasn't part of the sales process. No one had ever really encouraged them or taught them to ask for good quality introductions.
Yeah. Well, and then how do you educate for that? But that's a great point of the sales process, or any process really, is to, just do it, follow it, and if it doesn't work, change it, and still follow it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Japanese have a saying: fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Yeah.
Gidlewski say fall down 77, get up 78.
Yep.
Just keep failing forward. Keep, learn from the failures, but man, that's the only way you're going to grow.
That's for sure. That is for sure. It really makes a huge difference, and when you come back again too, I don't want to get off on a completely other topic, but as you do this, all right, when you're helping people and you're looking at culture, the one thing you have to do is encourage some failure.
Yes.
You have to be pushing to the limit of failing once in a while, not being successful all the time, and learning from it, because if you're not moving forward fast enough in anything really. And that's one of the things I think that, just the BHAGs that you talk about, you have to have those, because you got to go, okay, how are we going to, and there's all kinds, BHAG 10X, like the same thing. It's all a bunch of the same words put together differently.
Right.
And the end result is the same. if I'm going to try to climb Mount Everest and I get to climb Mount Rainier, well, I still climbed a pretty big mountain at the end of the day, rather than walking up the hill in my neighborhood.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, you bet.
And that's really what I like about those kind of things and laying them out there. So
yeah.
Michael, it's been awesome talking with you. We're coming up on about an hour here already, and it seems like it's been 10 minutes.
It does.
It's such a natural conversation with you, and your knowledge about people and assessing them and the leadership, and then helping them, the team really put together those plans and execute them to really create a business that the owner wants and the people are happy to work in and really have a good time is awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you bet. The Japanese or the Chinese have a great saying, may you live in interesting times. And we certainly are living in interesting times. There's a tremendous amount of in every adversity, there's a seed of equal or greater opportunity. And I think sometimes it's difficult to see that. Yeah, these are challenging times, and some people are really down and out, and I'm not minimizing that at all. But boy, I see all kinds of other upsides and successes and people pivoting and doing things and that are they're taking advantage of opportunities that are there. And I don't mean, buying up all the hand sanitizer when it first happened and then selling it for, $60 for a $2 bottle or something. I mean, real opportunities in like, how do we move and take advantage of the adversity that we're in?
Yes. Well, it's as you said, there's opportunity in almost every failure or challenge we run into, and they're hidden a lot of times, and sometimes they hurt so bad that you really don't want to admit you learned anything from it, but in the end they really can, and you do see that all over. And I agree 100% that personally and what I see around us, we see these opportunities opening before us. I think that COVID's been a real horrible time for a lot of people, and it will continue to be challenging. And in those challenges, though, I think we look at the example of us.
Right.
We met because COVID gave us more time to be in doing things like this, and through Kelly Robinson we met, and then we got to talk, and now we doing this and the kind of and learning from each other on the calls outside. It just, these kind of things may not have ever happened.
Right. Absolutely. Look at the whole video thing, the Zoom, what we're doing now. We're busy with clients. We're busy in the operations too, right?
Yes.
We're meeting with clients, doing plans and all. The Zoom has freed up so much drive time. It's unbelievable.
Yes. Well, I was telling somebody the other day that, it literally, I've used Google, and Google would email me at the end of every month, and it would say, well, you spent 80 hours in the car this month, or you spent 70 hours or 100 hours, and I'm like, that's crazy. And now I think that last month Google said I spent 2 hours in the car or something like that, and I was like, that's a good. But for clients and for us, it's time that we can use. We can use for our clients, and we can use for ourselves. So it all works out.
Yeah,
and that's
for
good.
Sure.
Well, Michael, it's been awesome to get you on, and I just thank you so much, Michael Gidlewski.
Yes.
And what's your company name again? I want to make sure everybody has that right.
Achievement Unlimited.
Yes.
Achievement Unlimited.
And we'll have Michael's contact information in with the video. You can reach Michael on LinkedIn. And just so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And
Very welcome.
we're out for now.
Okay, great. See you later.
A lot.
Bye. Take care.